Alright, let's see if this works today. I'm about to give up on my Droid phone. This is gotta be the 7th or 8th time I've tried to do a garden update. It's September 1st. I have not, my one apple is not very large. I've been tempted to see what it looks like underneath. I've discovered I have blossom end rot. And it usually shows up on my larger tomatoes and all of my winter squashes. And I've had it on my winter squashes for a while. Maybe later, bud. Here's some examples. A lot of times before the flowers even, or the fruits even have the opportunity to develop, they just rot. Sometimes they'll get bigger, and then the end still just goes. I guess that's a calcium deficiency. This year I tried not to do any fertilizing or spraying, except for, I just did some calcium foliar spray because of the issue. But I did put some Wash Dairy Farm compost mix on my soil as a mulch this year. And look at the size of this zucchini leaf. I mean, just, I can't even pull this back far enough. But this is the biggest zucchini leaf I think I have ever seen. And I have been still getting fruit despite the blossom end rot. The little tomatoes seem to be okay. But a lot of the bigger tomatoes, I get these weird, like, holes in them. And they're not, of course, obviously the best ones to show it either. Here are some good ones. So, if you think that's something different, I'd be happy to hear it. But from what I've read and learned, that's blossom end rot. I started a whole bunch of my cabbage just in one square, and as it got bigger I transplanted it throughout the garden. Alright, bud. I'm having a brain fart. What do you call those? Red pepper flakes all over it because of the mice and the rabbits. As far as peppers, this is a King of the North. I'm waiting for it to turn red. I have one eggplant. I'm not exactly sure when to harvest it. It's still kind of green on the bottom. It's getting kind of big. It does have pokies. I don't know if you can see this on this, but they have pokies on the top. They're not bad. So there's a lot of flowers there, just not a whole lot. I've buried my stick, but I'm pretty sure this is an Anaheim pepper. More tomatoes. That was the only one I'm for sure is a German Johnson. I got all the peaches off of my peach tree. They were okay. They were a little small, but I didn't expect any fruit this year at all anyway. And I've trimmed it to try and encourage a little bit more of a lateral growth rather than just upwards. Sorry, I'm watching my son. So the peppers I have, the rest are, there's poblanos, there's Anaheim, and this one's turning red. And I usually would have staked these, but I didn't get to it. I'm trying to remember. Anaheim and another one, not coming to me, Anho. They're very similar to me for some reason. I have more cabbage. More cabbage. Sorry about that. I had to answer a question. I still have some onions out here that have not been ready to be harvested. And some of them have just not grown worth anything. Like, these are supposed to be big yellow onions. This is the Dakota Tears. And it's like, So these ones are leeks. These are supposed to be leeks. I'm supposed to have some romaine over here, but I hardly see anything. My beans are about done. Maybe I'm just done with them. Or some of them are so large. Look at this one. More cabbage. Most of the beets have been eaten. I did only one row of peas in the back. Thank you, bud. We have the 3 Brussels sprouts, which you can see my little caterpillar loppers are all over the place. So I probably should spray some BT here soon. But you can see I've got Brussels sprouts coming up down in there. So those will be yummy. I'm looking forward to those. My favorite YouTube guy, his name is Patrick Dolan on 1 Yard Revolution. He's where I saw him doing this, where he'll put kind of like grates over his seeds, because we have a lot of birds and they like to dig in the garden, and it can be really frustrating when you're trying to get your seedlings growing. You can see I've got some little pak choi that are just starting to come up in here. I don't see, maybe 1 spinach so far. I don't see any of my carrots or anything yet, but that's something we're trying, and so far I'm pleased with it. I don't have enough grapes though. These cabbages were from March, and they're still there. Not doing anything. And the last one over here with my shadow in it. Well, I'm sorry it's been so long. I've done an update, and I'm just curious if this is even going to work. Oh yeah, I got one more thing, if I can show you, other than this. Look, I'm finally getting leeks. I went to a different variety this year. I have not had luck with my leeks. Normally I always have good luck with leeks. This year I have not. I believe it's the bandit leeks I usually do. So I'm not sure if these are just growing on top of the potatoes, or like they're trying to make more potatoes. But that looks weird to me. So I'm not sure what these are. But I do have, one of the squashes is trying to fruit, and I've just let that, even though it's a little late. And this is the one and only squash that I have managed, get off of me, to grow this year, which is supposed to be extremely prolific, and it's called the Burgess Buttercup. That's what I got. 1 squash. So, anyway, it's been an interesting year. So we'll see what happens next year. Starting to really analyze what I did well, what didn't go well, and what we could do different next year. Oh, last thing. My friend gave me a little root cutting of their fig tree. So I'm so excited to see there's greens on there, because that just makes me really happy. So anyway, happy September, my favorite time of the year. It doesn't get too hot, it's not too cold, but it has the cool, brisk, fresh mornings, and even the slant of the sun, everything. I love it. So happy gardening.